My name is Davita Vance-Cooks, and I am the Agency Director serving as the CEO of the United States Government Publishing Office, known as the GPO. I am also the 27th Public Printer. I have been asked to describe what leadership is, and as part of that, to share my leadership story. I'm happy to share my thoughts on the topic of leadership and my own personal leadership journey. That's because I've served in a leadership capacity in both the public and private sector for over 30 years. I was nominated and confirmed by the Senate in 2013, and when that occurred, I shattered several glass ceilings. I became the first African American and the first woman to hold the position in the agency's 152 years. As the Chief Executive Officer, I'm responsible for over 1,700 employees. They're spread across 19 locations nationwide, and I manage a budget of $875 million. I have been responsible for leading the GPO through a significant transformation as it shifts from a print-centric manufacturing facility to a content-centric publishing operation. The success of our transformation was acknowledged by Congress in December of 2014, when our name was officially redesignated from the Government Printing Office to the Government Publishing Office. In order to frame my leadership journey, I first want to share with you my evolution at the GPO. I've had the privilege of serving in a succession of senior management positions at this wonderful agency. I joined the agency in 2004. I was hired to be the Deputy Managing Director of Customer Services, and in that role I was responsible for overseeing the GPO's liaison with federal agencies for in-house print production and printing procurement services. This was my first full-time job with the public sector. 4 years later, in 2008, I became the Managing Director of GPO's Publication and Information Sales Business Unit, where I was responsible for e-commerce and a large print distribution supply chain. In January of 2011, I took on the role of GPO's Chief of Staff to Public Printer Borman, and in December of that year, I was named Deputy Public Printer. In that capacity, I served as Acting Public Printer from January of 2012 through August of 2013. President Barack Obama nominated me to be the Public Printer on May 9, 2013, and the U.S. Senate confirmed me as the 27th Public Printer on August 1, 2013. In December of 2014, my title, Public Printer, was changed to Director as a result of legislation that I spearheaded to redesignate the GPO as the Government Publishing Office, and in recognition of the GPO's role as a provider of digital as well as print services. Since taking office, I have been fortunate to work with a wonderful staff of individuals who work in support of the core mission of keeping America informed, which takes me to the issue of defining leadership. Leadership is very difficult to define because it means so many different things to different people. But I feel that good leadership hinges on four main principles. First, good leadership begins with developing a strong vision and the strategies to carry out that vision. Two, it means to communicate that vision clearly and create coalitions that understand and support the vision and strategies. Three, it means energizing people and stimulating them to change. Four, it means to produce not only change, but valuable change that meets real needs. There are so many attributes that I strive to be as a leader, and it would be impossible to list them all. But here are some of the attributes that I revere the most. Being passionate and motivated by making a difference. Without these at the core of leadership, I don't think anyone would ever be successful. I strive to live my values by practicing what I preach. I think it's important to be collaborative and interdependent. You need to give credit where it's due and to realize that it always takes a village to make things happen. That is essential. Leveraging diversity in knowledge, experience, and viewpoint is key. Decisiveness. While being collaborative and interdependent is key, once you've gathered all of the facts, the ball, as a leader, is in your court. At that point in time, you must be thoughtful and decisive and stay the course in your decisions. Listen and hear without judgment. It's important for a leader to keep an open mind and to think before reacting. Be trustworthy. Trust your employees. A good leader must trust his or her team. A good leader must listen deeply and respectfully to the team and realize that trust is a two-way street. It's important for a leader to show with actions that you are deserving of their trust, and you must be able to trust them, and you must be transparent and authentic. One must also possess cognitive ability and personality. It's important for a leader to be competent in the cause and have the ability to communicate it and to bond with your team to achieve a truly cohesive unit. And lastly, it's important for a leader to be open to mistakes with accountability. A leader must create a safe environment for learning from experiences because that is extremely important. Leaders value failure for the lessons that it imparts. One particular leadership philosophy that I totally agree with is the way in which Chris Hadfield, a Canadian astronaut, described it. I think that it is one of the best quotes that I have ever heard on leadership. He stated, "Leadership is not about glorious crowning acts. It is about keeping your organization focused on a goal and motivated to do their best to achieve it, especially when the stakes are high and the consequences really matter. It is about laying the groundwork for others' success, standing back, and letting them shine." Mr. Hadfield's description of leadership reflects my personal philosophy of keeping focused during organizational change, which is why my leadership story, as it relates to the GPO, is focused on guiding the organization through the transformation process. Successfully leading an organization through change is challenging, but oh so very rewarding. In order to present to you my personal journey of working through organizational change, I'd like to present to you a case study on the change at the GPO and the leadership principles that we used for that transformation. GPO's transformation process loosely follows Dr. Kotter's 8-step change model. Dr. Kotter is internationally known and widely regarded as the leading expert on the topics of leadership and change. He is the author of a book called Leading Change, an international bestseller, which in 2011 was listed by Time magazine as one of the top 25 most influential business management books of all time. So this case study will have 3 parts. First, I will provide a brief overview of the GPO. Then I will describe the steps that we took in our transformation to a publishing operation. And third, I will describe the leadership lessons that we learned along the way. I hope that this information will be helpful to each one of you as you engage in leading your respective organizations, no matter how large or small. GPO opened its doors on March 4, 1861. Congress created the government printing office to be its official printer. Our brand is official, digital, and secure. Our mission describes what we do. Our vision describes where we're going. Our mission is to keep America informed by producing, protecting, preserving, and distributing the official publications and information products of the federal government. Our vision is to continue to transform ourselves into a digital information platform and a provider of secure credentials. GPO stakeholders include Congress, federal government agencies, federal depository libraries, the public, and employees. The GPO has produced and distributed the official version of every great American state paper, as well as many other government publications, documents, and forms, such as the Congressional Record, the Federal Register, the Code of Federal Regulations, hearings, bills, special commission reports, and documents for federal government agencies. The documents that we have produced and distributed span decades of great change for this nation, starting with the Emancipation Proclamation in September of 1862. Most people don't realize that the GPO produces the passport book and various secure credentials, such as the Trusted Traveler products, FAST, Sentry, Nexus. Since 1926, the GPO has had a partnership with the Department of State to produce the passport books. In 2005, we collaborated with the Department of State to introduce the e-passport, which demonstrated our mastery of integrating biometrics and microelectronic devices with traditional print and binding. For decades, we operated a print-centric manufacturing facility, and we produced tangible print products. We were very successful over the years in adapting to the changes in the equipment to produce tangible print products faster and more efficiently. But these adaptations pale in comparison to the introduction of the Internet. It was a game changer for us. Once we started to put the information on the Internet, nothing was ever the same after that. Our business model, which was heavily reliant on paper and tangible products, was turned upside down. And in the last 5 years, we have seen major changes in our workflow, equipment, skill sets, products, and services. Changing technology changes everything, and the impact has been significant. For example, before the Internet, we printed 25,000 copies of the Congressional Record every day. Today we print 2,500. Before the Internet, we printed 23,000 copies of the Federal Register. Today we print 2,300. Although tangible print has declined, our readership has expanded exponentially because of online availability. In the past 5 years, the GPO has transformed into a publishing operation. Our capabilities include, but are not limited to, electronic content, digital databases, electronic information dissemination, graphic design and websites, secure credentials, and cloud technology, all of which revolve around the core of printing. We are a new and transformed GPO. In December of 2014, Congress recognized and the President signed into law our agency's name change to the Government Publishing Office because we had become a publisher. The head of the agency, once known as the public printer, is now known as the GPO director, and we continually strive to modernize our operation. I am a people-centric leader. I believe in people, and I believe that people make an organization run. Maya Angelou once said, "I have learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And I want people, my employees, to feel engaged, empowered, and to buy into the transformation and the changes. I understand that the employees will not buy in if they don't feel good about the change. People will buy into a leader before they buy into the vision. So let's take a look at Cotter's change model and the leadership attributes that each one reflects. Step 1. Cotter's Step 1. A leader creates a sense of urgency by identifying potential threats, opportunities, and understanding stakeholder views. Leaders should be honest about what is happening in and to an organization. Several years ago, the GPO had to face the fact that it was dealing with a changing business model. As I mentioned earlier, the world was shifting to digital, but our business model was based upon declining tangible print. Our stakeholders, in fact, questioned the value of print in an increasingly digital world, which meant that they questioned our value. And we lacked at that time a clear plan to deal with these challenges. But I was very clear to our employees that this was an issue that the agency faced. We faced it together, and we needed to deal with it sooner rather than later. This step, Carter Step 1, requires passion, motivation to make a difference, and decisiveness, all very good leadership attributes. Author Ken Kesey once said, "You don't lead by pointing and telling people some place to go. You lead by going to that place and making a case." When I became the CEO of the agency, I worked with the management team to develop a plan that channeled this urgency, and I made a case for change. I explained that our plan was to transform the agency into a publishing function, that change was good, and that every challenge represented an opportunity to reinvent ourselves. And I explained over and over again that we would get there together, that no one would be left behind. Which takes me to Carter's Step 2, building a guiding coalition. A leader must build a guiding coalition with individuals who have expertise and credibility. As a leader, I had to delegate the responsibility of implementing the change to others, and I had to trust that they would be able to deliver, and they did. This step requires a leader to be collaborative, interdependent, and have the ability to trust the employees. Carter's Step 3 is to form a strategic vision and initiative. A leader must form the strategic vision, must develop the initiatives. As I told you earlier, our strategic vision is to continue to transform ourselves into a digital information platform and provider of secure credentials. We developed a 5-year strategic plan. We also developed an operational plan to support the vision. And this step, in terms of a leadership attribute, reflects our commitment to the process. Carter Step 4 is to communicate the change vision. It requires that we walk the talk, because we know that what we do is far more important and believable than what we say. We must practice what we preach. And in this regard, we follow the 4 P's of communication. What is the purpose? Why are we doing this? Picture. What will it look like and feel like when we reach our goal? Plan. We talk step by step on how to get there. Part. What is your part to help us move forward? Carter Step 5 is to enable action by removing barriers. And this step requires creativity and intuition from a leader. When we remove barriers, it empowers the employees to implement the vision. And in doing that, a leader must learn how to listen without judgment. Carter Step 6 is to generate short-term wins. It is important to have quick wins that reflect the vision to further motivate employees. This step utilizes a number of leadership traits, such as communication, positive attitude, creativity, and a positive approach. Carter Step 7 is to sustain the acceleration of the change. A leader must keep looking for improvements because real change runs deep, and we need to keep looking for those improvements. Each success provides an opportunity to build on what went right and what needs improving. This step reflects leadership attributes of commitment to get the job done. Carter Step 8 is to anchor those new approaches in the culture. A leader must continually talk about progress. This reflects the leadership attributes of communication, commitment, and inspiration. To make any change stick, it has to become the core of an organization. So leaders must make continuous efforts to make sure the change is seen in every aspect of their organization, and it is a process of continuous improvement. This leadership step reflects motivation to make a difference. Together, our dedicated GPO staff members accomplished so much over the past few years, and I'm so proud of them. We were able to achieve the redesignation of GPO from printing to publishing to much more accurately represent the work we do and the evolution of the agency has made happen over the years. We have won many awards for digital innovation. Our employees have consistently rated us higher and higher in the OPM Employee Viewpoint Survey, and they state that the GPO is a good place to work. We've not only significantly cut our costs as an agency, but we have managed to improve our services to the public at the same time. We've managed to generate positive net income for our agency each year while modernizing our operations. We've greatly expanded the availability of digital government information through the expansion and enhancement of content and resources available through GPO's Federal Digital System, or FDSys, and its successor system now in beta called GovInfo. This is one of the most successful ways we've expanded that access, and it is through the official partnerships with libraries across the nation. We've made available U.S. government content as mobile apps, bulk data downloads, and e-books. We're constantly working to enhance the catalog of U.S. government publications in our ultimate goal to capture and catalog a comprehensive index of every document produced by the federal government. And this past year, the CGP reached a 10-year milestone as an ILS-backed system. We've continued our 120-year-old partnership with federal depository libraries and expanded the ways in which we are now partnering to advance that mission of keeping America informed. We've rebuilt our youth educational website, Ben's Guide to the U.S. Government, and it was recently selected as one of the American Library Association's great websites for kids. We were also the first legislative branch agency to move to cloud technology. Last year alone, we produced more than 20 million passports for the Department of State. We've continued to modernize our plant by replacing decades-old equipment. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. While, yes, all of this work has been done under my leadership, it was more importantly done as a collaboration among the members of a focused, dedicated, and purposeful workforce at GPO. In summary, I continually strive to improve my leadership skills while guiding the GPO through a transformation. It is challenging and exhilarating, and I hope that I have provided you with some ideas on how you can lead your organization. Thank you.